what would you say is the most significant way that this shift in the industry is going to change digital creative and the user experience of digital advertising? If there's one main thing about how the user's experience will change, what would you say?
I'm hopeful that it's going to have an impact on how we kind of treat creative execution, not just from like agencies and the advertiser side, but also on the publisher side. So I think everyone has seen those examples where you, especially on a mobile device, you try and read an article and you've got, you know, the banner at the top and then something that appears at the bottom and then an autoplay video, and you get about, you know, a small square in the middle that has the article that you're trying to read. That kind of cluttered bombardment of kind of ads, I hope will kind of slowly shift away, and there are going to be less ads. They're going to be more tailored, whether it's contextually or whether just the creative itself is slightly different. But I just hope that kind of relationship that the user and the brand has with that kind of creative will kind of calm down a little bit, and hopefully it will become a bit more engaging and a bit more impactful.
It's probably wanting a lot of things to remain as they are, but with a renegotiation of what that looks like, and especially more probably at the back end, where things like you're saying, where is this data even stored, is you know, is at the key, probably in some ways more than what the user sees, because that might not feel like a kind of a threat or something that's top of mind for consumers now. But we do see these internet services, like people relying on them more and more, and we might get things like coronavirus tracking apps, you know, worldwide, and people really sharing very intimate detail about whereabouts and relations and health status, and obviously these things become more and more important the more, you know, our lives are integrated with digital. I think in terms of the ad experience, hopefully we will be able to build on, like we were saying, around personalization and the good things about it, and then it will be kind of a technical nightmare for not people like me who have to design the ads, but the people who build the infrastructure and the security at the back end, so that hopefully we can have as fun and as kind of interactive experience as we've had, but with kind of other securities in place for when it's needed.
If anybody's got questions or, you know, worries about that data infrastructure work that Maria's just mentioned, then give me a call. I work for Croud in the data and innovation team, and I'll come to you. How would you begin to summarize things?
Yeah, I think some of the points that the guys before me touched on are the key ones. For me, it's really about the fulfillment of the mobile web experience. I think since really started to come to prominence in one of the many years of the mobile, probably about 5 or 6 years back, I think it's fair to say that based on some of the stuff that Maz mentioned in terms of the way we view consumer websites, it's been a bit of a disappointment and still not an experience that people really enjoy, and it's not really taken off in the way it should. Hopefully, looking at this from an optimistic perspective, with some of these limitations that these additional privacy regulations have put in place around cookie banners, etc., we can really start to make use of that environment and creatively, like to Maria's point, and start to fulfill the promise of what a powerful tool having these devices in our hands at all times allow us, and make it a useful experience rather than a frustrating but necessary one.
It's a noble mission. Hopefully this conversation has been helpful for people, but in a way to just see if we can add to that, I'm wondering if anybody's got any reading that they would recommend, or recommended ways to dig further into the topic or to follow up. Can I start with you, Maz? Anything that you've been looking at?
Yeah, I think on the third-party cookie side of things, and kind of the impact that will have on a number of different areas of what we do in our industry, there's some really good webinars called the Cookie Apocalypse. There's two parts to it. I think it's been kind of produced and put out there by Beeswax, Ari Paparo, who kind of runs that business, and they're really interesting. They're quite well well kind of explained in terms of, especially for people not kind of too familiar with programmatic and all of the acronyms, that they're quite good to kind of get an idea of what's happening. There's also a lot of pieces, again, there's a number of different articles and kind of, thought pieces on this topic. Wayne Blodwell, who is founder, CEO of Programmatic Advisory, puts out some interesting thought pieces on this stuff as well. So definitely kind of check those two out.
Very useful. Thank you. Ant, can I come to you on this one? Anything you'd recommend?
Yeah, I think just to add to Maz's point, the IAB released a big PDF document in this month, which was like a guide to the the post third-party cookie era. Quite granular, but a good reading to kind of get you fully up to speed with the current state of play and where things are going. From an industry perspective, the Mobile Fix Friday email newsletter is a good source for everything around the sort of mobile ad tech perfect storm and other industry topics related to this.